Hello everyone. If you want to improve your relationship, learn relationship hack or listen to entertaining and educating relationship stories, please subscribe, like, and share. Share your own story in the comments section below. Thank you. Comment what do you think about this situation. I 42F cheated on my husband 44 meters 4 months ago and came clean. But he refuses a decision. I think about an ultimatum. Me and my husband are married for a long time and have a 10-year-old son together. When we ever did something right, it's him. 4 months ago I came clean to my husband about me having an affair with a co-worker. The story is as old as the world. I missed the feeling of being desirable, feminine, acknowledged, and that co-worker gave me what I needed. It was exciting and felt really good. Especially since my co-worker is 29 and igniting desire in a man that young and good-looking made me feel a lot more confident. But whenever I looked at my husband, a lot of ugly feelings came up. Guilt and remorse for hurting him if he will ever find out. The thought how heartbroken I would be when he would do that with another woman. Not just the physical act, but the feeling a younger woman could give him. That I couldn't. I would have no words. It took a while to realize how extremely disrespectful my actions were to him, our marriage, and our family as a whole. I ended the relationship with my co-worker and waited for a weekend where our son was at his grandparents' home. Restrictions here already allowed that. I sat my husband down and told him that I cheated on him. At first he thought I was joking, but then he got angry, called me names and asked questions. Some I answered why, how long etc. Some were just inappropriate. He asked me if I expect him to forgive me, and I basically told him that he must decide that. I told him I would work happily with him on this marriage and absolutely try everything to gain his trust back. But I would also be supportive as possible when he wants to divorce. He asked me again if that's what I want. And I told him I definitely don't want to lose him. He said he had to think about it. That night I slept on the couch. I felt very vulnerable. The next day he said he will give me another chance, and I was very happy about that. But that faded really quickly. 4 months are over since then and he basically ignores everything. His only demand was that I quit my part-time job because of my co-worker and that I get a new phone number, so my co-worker can't contact me anymore. Since then we only talk about the most necessary stuff. He hardly looks at me or shows affection. Whenever I only touch his arm he brushes me off. I brought the topic up a few times. He absolutely refused to talk about it. I mentioned therapy. He refused again. I even suggested that he can have an revenge affair because I became already very devastated. But that was a big mistake. He looked at me even more disgusted and said, I am not like you. That hurt me. But he is not wrong. When I asked him when we will begin to work on our marriage or when he will be ready to talk about the affair, he said he doesn't know and maybe never. I can't blame him for his feelings. But I also think he maybe just wants to stay married because of his work, very conservative environment, and of course our son. I love him and I never wanted to hurt him, as weird as it may sound. The affair was something I needed. It was not meant against him. But I begin to resent him again and I don't want to cheat again or live in a loveless marriage. Even when taking our son into account, until he moves out there will still be 8-10 years left. I told him that already. But he always just says, you really expect me to forgive you after this short amount of time? I try to tell him this isn't about forgiveness. It's about the first steps of moving forward. But he doesn't understand it. I know. 4 months doesn't sound much. But it's already really tiring. I can only imagine his feelings are much worse. After all, I betrayed him deeply. But it can't go on like that forever. I thought about giving him an ultimatum of 2 more months for a decision or I would file for divorce. He would have some free time over Christmas and New Year's Eve and then January to think about everything. Would that be a mistake? But I clearly don't know what else to do. I don't want to live like strangers until our son moves out. But I also don't want to lose him. TL. Road. I cheated on my husband 4 months ago and he told me he would give me another chance but refuses to talk or to work on the marriage. I think about an ultimatum of 2 more months or I would file for divorce. But I doubt it's the right decision. What can I do? Are you really interested in helping him? You just sound spiteful. You can't rush him. He's still sorting out how he feels. He's been with you all this time only for you to betray him like you did. And then act like it was something you needed to do for your health or some speep. If you have a problem with how long he's taking, divorce him and move on. Despite what you say about how you love him, you cheated on him and now plan on leaving him if he doesn't get over it on your schedule. Where the f*** is the respect you have for him? You respected him enough to tell him you cheated. Oh joy. He definitely should have immediately forgiven you, right? Give him his time. You want him to make a decision? He already doesn't trust you and resents you. You give him that ultimatum. He's for sure going to divorce your ass. Your post is just full of excuses about how you feel wronged by him being distant and how you feel that you needed to f*** that younger guy for some reason. Maybe you should actually think about him here. Instead of how inconvenient his attitude is towards you when you caused it. You are quite a prize, aren't you? You make all the mistakes and betrayals and he has to not only get over it, but to do so on your timetable. Our marriage had issues before. And as I mentioned, he doesn't have to get over it. But it won't be solved by ignoring the problem. All I want is a first step. Therapy. Or a conversation. But there is coming nothing from him. So I think putting pressure onto him is my last option. Well, in reading your essay you make it fairly clear you don't have any remorse for this. And it seems that while you are probably headed for divorce you aren't decent enough to cast yourself as the villain there and you are making him be the bad guy too. Bravo. I regret hurting him. But I can't deny that the affair felt good. It's a marriage. Not a movie. There is no villain. I did something bad to him and I am willing to work hard on our marriage. But that will have no meaning when he ignores everything. A problem we had before too. He is not the most talkative and confrontational person. Well, I think if you are honest and tell him that you don't regret the affair and would do it again in a heartbeat, he will be able to decide the next steps. Cheaters are disgusting emo. I think you already know what you want. You just have to be honest with yourself and accept it. Yes. I want a decision. You agree on the ultimatum? I don't agree. I don't think you want this relationship and you just want to give 2 more months to ease the guilt. You either want to be with him or not. He might be able to change some slightly but not a 180. And be a new man. Alternatively you don't need to get a divorce. Live apart for some time before filing paperwork. I see. Thank you. I think you're lucky that he hasn't kicked you out, let alone making demands of forgiveness. You never stated how long the affair lasted for. You have shown no remorse and even tried to justify why you did it. Can you honestly say you've tried to make your husband feel sexy and desired? Gave him reassurance and been transparent? I think not. Your demands and reasoning is incredibly selfish and to demand this speech from him when you're the one getting side dick is a disgrace. You cheated. He agreed to not divorce you. And you're ready to throw in the towel after just 4 months. Yikes. You did this. He gets to be mad. He gets to be cold. He gets to feel whatever he wants about it. He gets to take the time he needs. And you have to let him have all of that. Since you were the one who caused this whole situation. If you can't do that, then you divorce him. I just wanna save peep you. If you want to act like a child, don't comment on posts where people ask for relationship advice from actual adults. You are here calling me a child when you are the one who cheated on your husband. Tell me who's immature. Thanks for proving my point with your defensive answer. Please explain how was I defensive.